Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Crazy day today. I'm here with my dad on Tesla, full self-driving 12.4.3, and we got a few places we need to visit today. So we're gonna go for a drive and see how FSD performs. First, we're headed to West LA, so let's go. Off to a nice start there. Very smooth how it pulled out, went around the car. Nice, I like that. Really smooth around the corners there. Are you seeing that?
Yes, very nice.
All right, now we're gonna make a left turn. There's no traffic signal here, so it's got to make sure that it's clear in both directions. And it looks pretty clear. There's a truck there, but it's squeezed in between perfectly, just like a human would. Didn't wait too long either. Pretty good balance that struck there. All right, now we have a unprotected left turn, sort of a little Chuck Cook's left here. We are sort of blocked. We have a divider here on the left side, so it's tough to see the cars coming. I've seen 12.4 struggle here in the past, so let's see how it does. It's creeping up. There may be an opportunity here, but there are more cars coming, and it was able to take that gap just like a human would and make the left turn. Very nice. So far, it's like a professional chauffeur.
That left turn is not an easy one, even for humans.
Right.
There's so much traffic on this road and high-speed traffic.
Yeah.
So not only does it have to look farther to make sure there are no cars, that would get to the spot within like next second and a half.
Right.
But it also has to look in both directions and make that judgment call. So very difficult. Even as a human, I struggle there.
Doing all that with cameras is just crazy.
Yeah, totally. And you saw all the obstructions,
Yeah.
the dividers between the two sides of
The visibility was blocked by the divider,
correct.
the
Both
median in the
sides.
middle of the road. Yeah, I think, people who kind of make fun of the Tesla AI team, I think they just don't have a grasp on what a technical marvel this is. It has to be, I think, one of the most impressive pieces of software I've ever seen in my life. Like, things that you didn't even imagine software could even do, you see it doing.
Correct.
So let's see how it handles the truck speed limit sign that's been plaguing us for years.
I don't have much hope there because
Actually, I've seen it handle it better in some cases.
the way it handles it better now is it looks at the other cars and they're moving behind you, front of you at a higher speed. It continues to move at higher speed.
All right, so here's the first sign. Speed limit 25 for trucks only. So it has picked up the 25 speed limit sign, but then it looks like it picked up the 45 speed limit sign before it really got down to a much lower speed. So instead of harsh braking, it was able to kind of recover before it had started slowing down. So that was a pretty good handling. Even though it did still read the speed limit sign incorrectly, it didn't result in a harsh braking.
This one doesn't have a 45 following immediately.
Right.
So this is where it runs into trouble.
Yeah.
And starts annoying people behind me. Oh, that one it ignored.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's starting to do it right. It remembered that it was 45. So maybe it said, okay, if there's a 25, but then it goes to 45, then remember that the 25 is for trucks or something. But it's super good. It's super awesome to see it handling that correctly now.
Yeah.
That was really frustrating for years, and it seems like they may have finally started being able to fix it. In general, the speed limit signs need a lot of work. You know, I talk to people who use FSD all across the country, and a lot of them tell me, hey, sometimes I'm driving down, you know, Route 26, and then the speed limit gets cut down to 26 because it reads the sign that says Route 26. So I think they definitely need some work on that.
Yeah. It's a low priority, but now with the fact that we want to record these drives where even speed limit is set automatically,
Right.
we don't want to touch it, it just becomes unnecessary for us to teach it, you know. So,
Interventions are becoming so rare, those are the things that you have to do.
yeah.
So it's becoming important. And, you know, you had John Carmack post, and he said, you know, I'm routinely now doing hours of driving without touching anything on FSD 12.4.
Yeah.
And I'm having the same experience, honestly. Even through some pretty crazy LA traffic, it just handles it like it's nothing.
The fact is that I noticed this too on my 12.4.3 is that the amount of time I would, you know, get involved in overtaking it, and it wasn't always a mistake. Sometimes it was that annoying something it did
Right.
that, you know, that I didn't like. That's reduced dramatically for sure. So more we have point-to-point drives without interventions, and I would say, you know, if I get like 500 of them in a row, right, then I'll say, oh, pretty much, you know, we're ready to go.
Right.
Remove the wheels, remove the brake pedal, remove the accelerator. I haven't touched it for last 500 drives. That's a year and a half. If I take one drive a day. If I take 2 drives a day, that's 250 days. Still almost 9 months.
Yeah. Feels like it's getting closer and closer. And what's different this time than in the past is we have a formula now, right? So in the past, they'd have certain breakthroughs. Like, for example, the occupancy network was a big breakthrough. But you'd have these sort of very sparse breakthroughs that were really driven by engineering ingenuity, right? So you'd have to come up with an idea and actually implement it, which was really tough. And, you know, retaining talent, finding talent, it's all very challenging. With this new paradigm where all you have to do is train a bigger model, train with better data, you know, add more GPUs to the cluster, train for longer, more GPU hours, and you just get better and better performance without having to really make any breakthrough.
What's the next breakthrough you're expecting?
Well, so 12.5 is coming pretty soon now, I think. So,
But what's the breakthrough there?
well, they're going to start using the end-to-end driving on the highway.
Oh.
So that's going to be huge.
So not much on the city?
No, it's going to improve on the city too, but for the first time, it's also going to handle the highway completely end-to-end.
I like that.
So just like we saw a big jump in performance on city streets, you're going to see the same thing on the highways.
Yeah. I think, you know, being involved in FSD for over 2 years now, I would say that V12 was the Chat GPT moment for FSD.
Definitely.
And you could see some kind of an intelligence in its decision-making process.
Right.
Certain things that were so obvious. For example, if the car in your other lane is showing in your right lane is showing a left blinker, it would pick that, slow down, give it some bigger gap.
Right.
Construction zones, you know, all kind of cones and everything. You would know how to navigate through them. So those are obviously, some things that it necessarily wasn't trained on, but it's learned it by enough training data on, how to navigate through different hurdles.
Right.
So I think they're on the right path for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't seem like they've gotten anywhere close to where this paradigm can take them. I'm sure new breakthroughs will be needed in the future, but they haven't even started to use the compute power of hardware 4 yet. They haven't started to train hardware for specific models. Their next generation model is going to have 5 times greater parameter count, and they're bringing up 50,000 GPUs, more than doubling what they have now at Texas right now. So all those things I think are going to continue to yield a lot of improvements, and honestly it's freakishly good right now. I think you mentioned FSD 12 as sort of a ChatGPT moment, but I think there's another big moment happening here, which is the nag going away. And the nag was just so confusing to people, and new users didn't get it. It created such a bad experience. But now with this, you've truly got an experience where it's dead simple. You sit in the seat, you turn it on, you look at the road, and that's it. Anyone can understand how to do it. And I think that's going to result in a lot more people using the product.
Nag's that moment where the companies now started to cut the umbilical cord between the artificial intelligence and the other tools that we still have. So first they'll let the nag go, then they'll let go you're needing to keep an attention on the road, and then they'll let go the accelerator. I think they'll just increase the gap in terms of lack of attention. So right now the camera is very strict. Even if I take my eyes off of the road for
2
1
seconds.
second or 2 seconds, it beeps. So they'll increase that with time, and then eventually you'll see. But to be honest with you, I've been on Waymo and Cruise in past, and I've seen them drive, in situations, all kinds of situations. But if Tesla were to put a car like that in a mapped area, very small geofence, right? They would have done that 3 years ago with their older software when they had the 300,000 lines of code.
Right.
So I think their strategy of saying wait until this gets so good that we don't have to have geofences and maps and everything else.
Right.
And we're not just handling roads, we're handling parking spots, we're handling summon, all kinds of things. Is their 1-2 punch to the rest of the world where all of them are knocked out, right? They're not going to be able to compete because they'll have to start from scratch to come to this level. There's no way I could see Waymo or anybody else park the car the way this one does, or navigate through a parking structure. I once did it in a parking structure, came down 3 levels, found the exit,
Wow.
And that's not going to happen on Waymo. They're not even working on that. So this is, where you would truly have a car take you where you want to go and deal with all the challenges that the real world, presents, not just the ones that you are aware of, also the ones that you're not even aware of.
Yeah, I really don't think people appreciate how unique Tesla's technology is. They think, oh, okay, there's other self-driving cars, there's even other cars without a driver, so it must be much more advanced. But what we haven't seen is something. What we haven't seen is something that can just look at the world and drive.
Correct.
And it works in Europe, it works in China, it works in the United States. There's no other self-driving system that works anywhere in the world like that.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of iPhone and BlackBerry time, when there was a little bit of overlap between the two technologies. There used to be pundits that would make a case for BlackBerry. Oh, it just does this better, it has this, it has encryption.
Right.
And I used to tell them, I said, come on guys, it's not even the same class of competition, right? BlackBerry would have to throw everything away to be iPhone and completely re-engineer everything, and that'll take years and years. So they're done, they're toast. And sure enough, they're done. So same thing, when Tesla's FSD is actually converted into robotaxi technology, cars without any steering wheels, without any gas pedal, that technology will be so far advanced that anybody else working with the lidars and all of that, they'll have to really dump everything and start over. So we're talking about it. So their best bet would be to license the technology from Tesla and move forward.
Oh, yeah.
Not waste time with it.
I mean, if you want a self-driving system that's cheap enough to run on the car, that doesn't require pre-mapping and can work anywhere, there's nothing else except Tesla that can do that.
Correct.
Not Mobileye, not
Here's a
Waymo.
fire truck that just came out of the fire station. So this is kind of an interesting, tricky situation, and how we are supposed to yield to emergency vehicles. So I'm not quite sure how much training it has on that. Another fire truck. It does detect it as a regular truck,
Well, I think
and it's a red light. So
I don't think it really handles emergency vehicles, but because the other vehicles around us were reacting,
correct.
it slowed down in response.
Also,
But-
it was a red light. Yeah.
But it was also smart that it didn't try and go around, for example, or do anything. So that
We'll see.
that didn't require any intervention so far.
Have you ever had a situation where there was a police or a fire truck or an ambulance behind you while you were on FSD?
Yeah,
And
I had to take over.
okay, so that part hasn't been trained yet, I guess.
Not that I've seen.
Yeah.
But, it should be something that they could solve just by showing it data of people responding to emergency vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
It should then be able to just do it like a human.
I would say,
My guess is just because it's sensitive, it's been an area of concern for NHTSA too. They said, okay, let's just make it so people have to take over for emergency vehicles for now. They probably want to make sure the handling is just absolutely flawless before they try handling it automatically. You wouldn't want to impede an emergency vehicle because your software is buggy or something.
I would say that plus the handling of that last, 5-10 yards, whether it's a parking spot or whatever, and then reversing, out of a spot. Those 2-3 situations is probably what Tesla engineers are working on right now. They're probably done
Yeah.
with the street, because we've seen this perfection for almost a year now, maybe more. So I don't think there's any concerns on the normal street driving. I'm pretty sure they're working on those edge cases now. And the ones they deliberately left out, like the emergency vehicles, reverse, and finding a parking spot kind of situation.
Yeah, they have said they're working on reversing and smart summon and banish. So I think by the end of the year, they'll be feature complete, meaning you don't have to touch the controls at all in a day if you don't want to. You could just have the car do everything. And, maybe there'll still be some interventions in some rare occasions, but those are just getting more and more rare every month.
I noticed you set up your FSD for the speed to be automatic,
Uh-huh.
and I haven't done that yet. It does pick the speed automatically, but sometimes I override that. I want to go a little faster or slower.
You can still use the accelerator pedal to go faster if you want. I would definitely recommend everyone turn auto speed on. I mean, sometimes auto speed has been driving too slow. People have been frustrated with it. That's why they've turned it off. But definitely give auto speed a try every once in a while if you're one of those people. Life's definitely a lot better with auto speed on. Overall, it drives much better. It handles more things the way you'd like, and I seem to have fewer interventions with auto speed on. It's just one less thing that you have to worry about.
Do you think this car's been hit on both sides like that, or is it by design?
No, it got hit.
On the other side too.
Yeah.
That makes makes no sense.
Well, maybe it hit like a guardrail or something with two things sticking out. Yeah, like two pieces of metal.
They're too symmetrical to be.
Look at this tight lane change in between two cars, how it slips in there.
Yeah, that it does really well now.
The lane changes are just
Sometimes
insane.
even better than I would do it.
I know. I can't even change lanes as well as this thing can. And it does it so smoothly too. So now they just redid the freeway on-ramp here. And last time it actually got onto the 405 South on accident because of the new on-ramp structure. So let's see if it makes that mistake again, or if it's able to.
Have they opened the new ramp now?
Yeah, they have.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
So this one now does both north and south?
Well, you basically don't have to turn right. Okay, come on, do the right thing. Don't go south. Don't go south. Change lanes to the left. Yes.
Okay, good.
And there was like fast traffic coming behind me on the left, and it still, it waited for the perfect moment. It was really good.
So now there are cones. That's not even like a regular road.
Okay, now this is really interesting. Look, the map directions are actually telling it to turn right onto 182nd Street,
Correct.
but it actually got on the 405 on-ramp.
Yeah.
It figured that out itself, even though the map directions had the old entrance.
Yes.
That's crazy.
That is amazing. What does that tell you?
And then the other thing that's interesting is, before it got on the south, because it was trying to make a right turn, so it thought, okay, I'm getting in the right turn lane, but then it actually ended up going south. Now, without an update, or it was another 12.4 that it did that on, it's now corrected the issue, and it's now figured out how to get onto the 405 north correctly. That's pretty impressive. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting it to go south.
So what does that tell you? That it ignored the map?
Yeah.
And
went with vision.
Yeah, which means that it has a power to override the map based on construction.
And I've seen that.
I've
seen that a few times.
Yeah,
I've seen that a few times where the directions say something different, but it makes a different decision to get to the pin as efficiently as possible.
That's true.
Like one time I saw where it said, okay, go forward, then make a U-turn, then turn right. But it was possible to just make a left. So it said, okay, I'm just going to make a left. And it made a left turn instead of doing that complicated route. So I was like, wow, that's really how it should work. That's how a human works, right?
Yeah.
We don't just blindly follow the map. We use our intuition, and the map is just a hint. And look at the 405 jam-packed here. And you don't even have to worry about it.
This is the busiest portion of the 405, busiest freeway in the world. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It gets up to 8 lanes at 6, 7, 8 lanes, bumper to bumper traffic. If it can drive on this freeway, which a lot of people I know cannot, and some people just
humans get stressed.
Simply refuse to get on this freeway. So if it can drive on this freeway, you can definitely give it A+ on freeway driving, because this is not, we're not talking about any other state driving. This is California, high speed.
If this is your commute every day, this software is going to change your life.
Yeah,
it's going to improve your quality of life so much for $3 a day. It's unbelievable.
What's $3 a day?
$99 a month divided by 30 days.
I don't think that's even relevant. I think that $99 is more like the cost of ownership, that it's definitely worth every penny. I think FSD, if it was included the car and people had to pay $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 more, they would blink. It definitely.
Really impressive slipping into the carpool lane there.
Yes.
In previous versions, it would, if the carpool lane was that crowded, it would just fail to get inside.
Yeah,
but it really squeezed in. And, what's crazy to me is it's doing this all with cameras. Everybody said, you guys are crazy. You can't turn off the radar. You can't turn off these sensors. You need them. You actually need lasers to be able to drive. And they said, no, look, with cameras, even when traffic suddenly stops, just with cameras, they can stop every time and it never hits the car in front. That's incredible.
Well, we drive with vision, right, as humans, so I don't understand why people were even doubting it. If we can drive with two cameras,
right?
this car's got 8.
But you know, that's the brilliance of Elon Musk and Andrei Karpathy, that they just reasoned from first principles and they said, well, of course, this is how it should work. Everything's in the visual spectrum. Everything's designed for vision. So this is a computer vision problem. And everyone made fun of them. They said, you guys are idiots. You can't do it. Now look at what they've shipped.
And no part is the best part. Taking away the ultrasonic and all of that stuff, even, that made it more reliable because now they're totally focused on just cameras, right, and nothing else needs to be there,
right,
in order for it to work.
So true. Simplify the development and you'll move faster. Now you don't have to worry about compatibility testing between this vendor and that vendor, and we switch to this radar. It's just gone. You don't need to write firmware. You don't need to test the firmware. It's all gone.
True. I traveled a lot of countries and a lot of cities in the world, and I've driven in so many international cities around the world. I have yet to find a city with traffic as crazy as LA. So I don't know why you got out of the carpool lane. It's
getting ready to get off the highway, I think.
No, it's too early. It has...
You think so?
Yeah, it has a lot to go before it has to take an exit. So it does that on my car.
It's probably getting off at like La Cienega or something.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
Why would it do that?
Well, it's just taking the route it thinks is going to be fastest. So I think it has a plan.
No, it shows it's continuing on 405.
It has a plan.
But it is doing something, you're right.
It has a plan.
It is moving to the right. I'm not sure about the plan.
That's the thing. You don't have to worry about the plan. I don't even know where we're going. Okay? I didn't even look it up. I'm trusting the car. I know it's going to get us to the address that I provided it.
Yeah.
I didn't have to check where it is, what exit do I take. I don't care.
It's still showing blinker. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's getting off, obviously.
405 north. We are on 405 north. Why the far right lane?
Because it knows there's a shortcut.
What is the shortcut?
Shortcut is over here.
Century Boulevard. It's taken Century Boulevard.
Yeah, look at what the traffic is like up there. It's trying to go around it as much as it can.
Okay, Range Rover on my right.
Yeah, I was trying to change lanes.
BMW ahead of me.
I was trying to change lanes over to the right, but then that guy merged in.
Yeah,
so it's good
in
at
the correct
spotting
lane
that.
now. Considering it's planning to take Century Boulevard exit. So let's see how that works. I wonder if the map actually asked it to take that exit or did it just decide on its own?
It decided that the fastest way to get there would be to go this way. Now, it may not actually get off on Century Boulevard. I think it's going to stay on the 405. But if you go over here, you can just continue on to the 405, but cut through a little bit of traffic.
Ah, interesting.
It's taking a little shortcut.
It's doing the trick that locals do, who know these ramps don't really completely get you off the 405.
Right.
But it'll give you that a couple of miles,
right,
around the congestion. So let's see. Yeah, you're right, probably, Omar. It actually decided to do this just to avoid the congestion at the airport exit.
Exactly.
Did that come from the map, or did that just come out of its own intelligence? I mean, where the hell did it know that from?
That was the route that the routing system provided to it.
Okay. Okay, so there is a stop and go traffic right here. I can see it now.
That's okay. We get to enjoy this
Yeah.
shortcut.
And it's
So look at all the traffic over there, and we're just
Yeah.
flying by.
Yeah.
Because so this is what you're going to experience with an autonomous car. This is why people are going to turn on autopilot instead of driving manually.
Yeah.
The car knows all kinds of secrets that you don't know about how to get there quickly.
But this is the map. This is not even FSD.
Yeah,
this is the
but-
mapping technology.
But it's a computer. You know, the computer
Yeah.
knows.
It's the mapping technology.
Humans don't have the ability to take in all that information
Correct.
the way that
So earlier
computers do.
it ignored the map, which is itself an advanced technology because of the traffic data. But this time it didn't ignore the map, and it decided to say, you know what, I'm going to actually follow this trick where I'm actually taking an exit, but I'm not going to really take an exit. I'm going to continue back on 405 now.
All it was doing is following the lane guidance that was provided to
Yeah.
it by the routing system. So obviously you can continue to improve. Okay, so there's actually a merge happening here.
Yeah.
So it's
And it's a pretty tight merge. Bumper to bumper traffic.
yeah,
There's
it doesn't look like the car's properly
And-
recognizing that
yeah,
this is a
but the-
merge.
but
It
the
thinks
car-
that it's 2 lanes.
car is assertive.
Okay, now it's starting to pick up on the fact that we're merging.
Yeah.
It's highlighting this car in blue.
To our left. Okay, good, good, good. So it's finally merged. Nice. It should be changing the lane. Why stay in the slow lane? Maybe
Well,
get back to the carpool lane eventually.
It does want to get onto the 90 in 2.5 miles, so
Okay. To the Marina Freeway, yeah.
maybe it'll change 1 lane over, but probably doesn't want to get all the way across. All right, we got a truck. Really tight lane change there, but it pulled it off
Yeah.
so smoothly. I mean, this is like, how are you going to survive in Southern California without this? It's so good now. And it can just handle people being crazy, weaving around. It's not your problem anymore. Like this thing, it probably has health benefits, you know? This thing probably brings down your cortisol levels. This thing could prevent you from having a stroke or a heart attack, potentially.
Yeah. I mean, definitely reduces the traffic related stress. I used to have employees that would come to work and they would drive like 45 minutes on the freeway to get to work. They were already stressed by the time they got to work.
Right.
I was like, guys, you gotta move closer to the office because you're getting stressed every morning. And I think those guys would love it, right? Now they can be enjoying the ride and not be stressed. So it's like having a private chauffeur take you
Yeah.
to office every day.
Yeah, it's starting to drive like a professional chauffeur. Like, it drives more smoothly and comfortably, more professionally than your average human driver does.
So true. We're gonna take Marina Freeway. Looks like.
Yeah. So this is some of the most boring driving you can ever do in your life. This is the kind of driving nobody wants to do
I know.
themselves. This is what software was made for.
And if somebody drives it for you for $1.50 each way,
Right.
so it's like, are you sure that's not even minimum wages?
It's insanely cheap. Okay, making a right turn, getting ready to get onto the Marina Freeway. Changing lanes again. Very nice. Slowing down as it sees that people are trying to cut into this lane to get on the freeway. Nicely done.
It knows that both of these lanes go on 90
Right.
freeways, so it doesn't necessarily go on the far
Yeah.
right lane.
That's another good thing, because as a human, sometimes you just get in the far right lane because you're not sure. It has really good signals on what lanes it can be in to get where it's going.
Even though the sign did not show this lane was going, it was
Right.
only pointing to the far right lane, but it knew it.
Yeah.
So where's that data coming from? Is that coming from the map?
Yeah. It's in the map.
And that's provided by who?
OpenStreetMap, TomTom, others. Tesla kind of assembles the data. They have a map data pack that the car downloads
Oh, okay.
for offline access, and that has the data in it.
So this is not a Google map only.
No, Google Maps just provides the tiles. All the map data is different. Because the map data needs to be downloaded to the car, right? It can't be something that it requires internet for.
Correct.
So they have to kind of assemble their own map pack.
How often do you think that map pack is getting refreshed?
I have no idea.
Based on that ramp, 405 on ramp from Crenshaw to 405 north, it does look like it still had the old map data because it was showing the ramp to be further down. The new ramp was not there yet.
Yeah. I mean, I think they have like the map, and then I think there's certain map hints or corrections they can pull from the server, maybe. Okay, so here is a sign that says no right turn on red. So the guy in front of me looks like he almost wanted to go, but I guess he's gonna wait. I have noticed it is respecting the no right turn on red sign much more often.
Actually, sometimes it respects it even though there is no sign saying no turn on red. I've seen that.
Well, yeah, if it doesn't have visibility, then it won't make a right turn. Or maybe it thinks it saw a sign or something. Who knows? But most of the time, it does turn right on red. That guy didn't care. He made a right turn on red. I have one video I made where the car stops at a no right turn on red. And then you see one human after another going, making a right turn on red. And it's like, you know, that would be an intervention. People would say, oh, okay, tried to turn right on red. Okay, that's an intervention. Now it's the humans that are really requiring an intervention. The software is actually doing it right. All right, we're getting close to our destination now. We're just 2 minutes away, 0.7 miles. So we need to make a right turn onto Luis Avenue in half a mile. That should be right up ahead. All right, here's Louise Avenue. We're gonna make a right turn. Hey, take a look around. Take a look at the neighborhood. All right, we got another car coming. Pretty tight street. The car waited a little bit there. Making a left turn.
That's okay. It saw it.
Yeah, it did brake a little bit, I think. A cat ran into the street. All right, we got another vehicle coming, and it is pulling over. Very nice. Zero intervention drive.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Tesla team, very impressive. I mean, didn't make any mistakes that you can think of.
Absolutely.
No, can you think of any criticisms?
No, it was better
perfect.
than a human being
Yeah.
to drive, yeah.
It was better than I could have done. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. All right, time for our next drive. This is a short one, just 1 mile, 4-minute drive. Let's see how it does. So starting off, we're gonna have to make a left turn onto Washington Boulevard. Pretty crowded street, lots of traffic. And the street's at kind of an angle. So it's a little challenging.
Yeah, not an easy one, but it can do it. There was an opportunity, but it didn't take it for some reason. Maybe this blue car, it's waiting for the person to decide which way to go. It's monitoring that car. Oh, now there's a line of cars on this side, so it's gonna be even harder now. I'd rather be on the cautious side than on the take it the risk side, right?
Yeah, but you also need to go eventually and not get stuck forever.
Okay,
so.
now it should go. Maybe hit the gas pedal. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's going on its own.
Okay, nice. Good
So
timing.
I think before it might have gotten stuck there and I had to press the accelerator. So in the past, so that's an improvement. But this time I didn't have to press the accelerator.
Oh, and it had to go immediately, right? That's why I was
Yeah.
waiting for
The road to
pretty
be
clear,
completely clear. Yeah.
Very smart. I'm gonna look at this lot. It's also a problem.
Yeah. True.
Homeless druggies.
I mean, I don't see any homeless people there right now.
But they're gonna be there. You can see already their bags and everything. Right here.
I don't think that's a homeless person's bag. I think that's like a tarp.
They cut into this thing and they sleep there for sure. That's a given. Until they build something. Here's a restaurant space coming up there.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit of problem too.
Why?
Because these shopping centers attract all kinds of people.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just kind of.
The house is beautiful. We can make a house like that. I would rather have that house $500,000 cheaper, and I spend that money like that and make it like that in a nice location. Because in real estate, three most important things are location, location, and location. So keeping that in mind. What's going against this house is location, not the house. The good thing about this house is that we could be getting some positive cash flow. Even you end up having this as an investment property.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty good location overall. To be close to Venice, like, I mean, obviously Venice has like a lot of,
It's not that
homeless
close to
people and
Venice. It's
stuff.
close to Marina Del Rey.
I mean, it's within a few miles.
Good 25 minutes, 2 minutes.
25 minutes?
I would say so.
What are you talking about?
What do you think?
Marina Del Rey is not 25 minutes away from Venice.
Because all surface street. There's no freeway.
What are you talking about?
We'll map it. Wow. Did you see that?
Yeah, it was weird. It made a right turn, but the navigation didn't tell it to make a right turn. It told it to go straight, so I'm not sure why it made a right turn.
Now it's gonna make a left. Then it's gonna make a right.
And then get back on the street. So maybe it thought there was an obstacle or the road was closed or something.
That is kind of very interesting why it did what it did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was strange.
This is where we know that it is using some of its own intelligence to go around, even though the map might say something else, but it probably saw something that it felt like it needed to bypass that and go around, which I don't know what it was. Now I'm gonna take a look to the left as it makes the right turn on that main street again. But why it did it, I have no clue. You have any clues?
Nope.
It's a way better upgrade neighborhood.
I mean, it's pretty much the same neighborhood. It's right next to it.
Yeah. This house has less value than the other 10 houses down. Okay, take a look at the left, Omar. See if there was something that made it look like the road's blocked.
Well, you can always just look at the video later.
Yeah, that's true.
Alright, checking if it's clear to go to make the right turn. Looks good. You know, there was a dip in the road, like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of worried about how it would handle that dip. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's why I decided to make a right.
Maybe it saw that as a trench or something. You know?
Yeah. Maybe it thought it was like a hole or something.
Yeah. But I like that.
Yeah.
I like that it took it upon itself to go around the block.
Right.
So that's what I was telling you earlier, that it can handle, it doesn't need to be mapped. It can handle real life situations. Better neighborhood.
Mhm.
Much better neighborhood.
Yeah, true. No doubt about that.
Wow, look at the parking, my God.
Yeah, it's doing pretty good. All right, another zero intervention drive. All right. One more stop. It's just half a mile away. So this will be a quick little trip. Let's go. Starting out, looks like we got a little bit of a roundabout here. Now the map says make a left turn. So will the car go around this roundabout as it's supposed to, or will it try and turn left? Let's see. Okay, good. It is going around the roundabout. In previous updates, sometimes when the map would say turn left and there was a roundabout it didn't know about, it would just try and go the wrong way and turn left through the roundabout. The fact that it recognized visually that there was a roundabout and I need to go around it to turn left just shows how they are really starting to focus more on the vision and rely on that above all else.
True.
And I like how it slowed down for those dips there. It used to just completely ignore the dips. Now it's getting pretty good at handling them.
I think it should slow down a little bit more.
I think it's fine. Compared to before, when it would just go over it at full speed, it's night and day. Very good. Handles it just like a speed bump. Alright.
Another dip.
One more dip coming up.
Speed down to 12, 10. Very nice. Just like a human being. Making a right turn at the stop sign. Stop only for us, not for them. So it has to be careful. Make sure it's all clear. It stops well ahead of the line, which is fine. Now made a right turn. Perfect. Past the traffic light. Oh, this is on a busy street. I won't waste my time.
Okay.
I don't like busy streets.
Alright, let's skip it then.
Yeah. Forget about it.
Alright. Another zero intervention drive. Alright, we got one more drive before we head back. Let's go. Okay. So we're about 6 miles away from our destination. Should take us about 15 minutes to get there. We're going to make a right turn onto Palms Boulevard in a quarter mile to get started off. There's an RV here in our lane. The car goes around it. Very nice. Here's the right turn. All right, we're making a right turn. I like how it waited for that car to see if it was going to turn left.
Yeah.
Then see, it's kind of slowing down now. There's a person walking across the road. There's people walking in the right turn lane there, so it got out.
And
That's
it
pretty
changed
smart.
The lane,
Mm-hmm.
and it's cautious
Driving
driving.
driving cautiously.
Yeah. Reduce the speed quite a bit.
You know, it's driving a little too slow now, but now it's picking up speed. Next up, it has to turn left onto Overland Avenue in 1 mile.
To get on 405, right?
No, it's just turning left onto Overland Avenue.
Oh, it's gonna take the surface street all the way.
No, it's going to take the 10. All right, here there's a guy with his nose sticking out, trying to make a left.
Yeah. This is where they have made it idiot-proof. Because there's a lot of idiots the way they drive.
Okay, we got the green light. There's some big dips in the road here.
Another dip?
That looks like a pretty harsh dip.
Yeah, didn't care.
All right, coming up to Overland Avenue now. I think it's the next street after this.
Interesting.
It turned left into the right lane because it needs to get onto the freeway on the right side. So it's thinking a few steps ahead.
Yeah.
It's thinking, okay, if I turn into the right lane now, then I don't have to have a possible intervention for failing to get over. Okay, here's the entrance to the 10 freeway, right up ahead.
This one lane divides into 2 lanes ahead, both going to 10.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to get in the first far right lane because we're going to be taking 10 east. The other one is,
Yeah, the left lane's probably 10 west.
yeah.
All right, here we go. Looks like it is getting into the right lane. Very good. So this is also one of the worst, most busy freeways in the world, and definitely in Los Angeles, the 10.
Yeah, it goes from Santa Monica past downtown. Really crazy, busy. Tighter lanes also on this freeway, and a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
During the weekdays, it's a nightmare.
During the weekends, it's a
yeah.
nightmare too.
I remember once we took it from, we took 110 south from Convention Center or somewhere, and it got on 10 accidentally, and it couldn't just change the lanes just in time. And that was pretty challenging to get out of 10
Yeah.
at that time. And that was,
I mean, the 10 is like a parking lot.
yeah, that was V10. That wasn't even V11. It's like, that was a year and a half ago, I think.
Right.
They posted that video. What an improvement since then in terms
Yeah.
of, you know, lane handling and missing the turns, you know, almost, and the confidence in lane changing.
Mm-hmm. Seriously. All right, so getting off in 1.5 miles on Fairfax Avenue. But it's changing lanes over to the left.
That's what I was talking about, the confidence.
Yeah.
Even me as a driver, confident driver, I wouldn't do that, you know, this close to exit.
Right.
I would try to stay in the far right lane because I know this is a pretty busy freeway.
Yeah.
Bumper to bumper traffic.
1 mile to get over 1 or 2 lanes.
1 mile, it has to get over 2 lanes, if not 3.
But it knows it can do it.
Yeah.
And I have no doubt it'll do it.
Yeah, it does it really well. Tremendous confidence. 0.8, 0.7.
Now it's starting to think about changing lanes to the right.
0.6.
But it's not going for it yet. It's saying, you know what, I might have a better opportunity.
No, there's a car behind us that's pretty close. It's watching it. It's already painted that car blue. So now it's in the correct lane. End of the story. It knew exactly what was happening, though that lane was ending far right. It was just on 1 lane change.
Right. All right, here's the Fairfax Avenue exit. Very smooth exit. A little bit of a slowdown there for that sort of dip in the road, or in the off-ramp. It wasn't a dip exactly, it was just sort of a deformation in the road, but it still slowed down a little for it, just like a human would. It's those little touches that really bring the comfort level up.
So human-like. And let's not forget the acceleration and the slowdown or deacceleration and braking. Amazing improvement in that, to the point that I don't even think about it anyway. You don't feel any unusual acceleration or unusual stopping or braking. So it's very smooth, like a professional driver.
Yeah.
So we take a lot of things for granted, and we've started forgetting about these things because it's doing it so well now that we don't even talk about it. But I know, you know, just only a year ago, it wasn't that. You know, there were some, you know, ghost braking, and sometimes acceleration was too slow compared to, you know, what I would do, or braking was too hard. None of that. So they have put a lot of focus on smoothness of the ride. You know, smooth yet not slow or annoying, you know, where you want to take over.
All right, we're making a left turn. It looks like there's 2 lanes turning left, and it managed that well.
Yeah.
We're making a right turn onto Saturn Street in a mile. Very smooth, natural driving.
The right lane here goes right only, so it did not go to that lane,
even though it was open.
even though it was open. Yeah.
Just annoying stop and go traffic. You can't get around it. You can't do anything. You just have to wait. It's the perfect thing to let the software do. Before FSD, I was just losing my mind in situations like this, getting so frustrated. Now you don't worry about it. You enjoy the music, you look at the scenery, you let the car handle all the decisions. Alright, we're coming up pretty close to Saturn Street now. It should be in about 400 feet. I think I see it up there. Alright, here we are. And we're going to make a left turn, and there's our destination.
This looks like a different place than the last time.
No. They just have a little fence they put up. Alright, another zero intervention drive. Alright, we're all done with our errands for the day. Time to head back. So all of the drives today have been zero intervention. We got one drive left, 22 miles, 44 minutes. Let's see if this last drive is zero intervention too. Then it'll be a completely zero intervention day. Alright, we got FSD on. Oh my god. Huh. So just me, or did it go backwards?
No, it did go backwards, yeah. That was kind of interesting that it did. I thought it saw the cars. It didn't know whether the cars were stopped or not. It just wanted to kind of back out of that. That was kind of...
Maybe it just rolled back or something.
No, if anything, it would have rolled forward.
Yeah.
Because we were sloping down towards the street. It's a nice neighborhood, actually.
Try a different charger. Yeah, it is a good neighborhood. It's in the middle of everything. It's central. Probably be better to live here than in, you know, Venice or something overall. More central to everything.
True.
All right, so we got to make a unprotected left, kind of a Chuck Cook's left here. High-speed traffic coming in both directions. All right, very good. Just like a human.
A lot of patience.
Sometimes one of the chargers is slower than the others.
Notice how tight it is between the parked cars and the rest of the cars, and yet it's still maintaining in such a way that it's not crossing the yellow line.
Yeah. By the way, my friend was texting me about the superchargers. That's what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
In case the people on the video are wondering what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right, next we're going to make a left turn onto La Cienega Boulevard in 1 mile.
It's interesting how it even detects the red light at the top.
Yeah. The brake lights. So here's the 10 freeway. It looks like this time it's decided not to get on the 10 freeway and to try and take La Cienega instead. Okay, there's a bus stopped here. This is causing traffic to stop. The car wants to change lanes to go around the bus, but there's traffic coming. So that makes it a little bit challenging. But now it's continued, and now the bus is moving. So we can continue. In a 1/4 mile, we need to make a left turn on La Cienega, so hopefully it'll start getting over.
Free advertisement for Dominguez firm.
Well, it's not free. They probably paid for it.
Well, free on our video.
If they can see it. I don't know how much they can see it.
I think these lawyers will be out of business
Yeah,
when FSDs come in, right?
I don't think there's going to be any more accidentes.
I wouldn't be investing in Dominguez firm if I were you. If every car is driving using AI, then the chance of accident is almost zero, right?
Mhm.
So, or at least dramatically reduced.
Right.
So obviously the business of these guys.
All right, looks like the bus is pulling over again.
Oh, this is tight, guys. Ooh, wow. This time it did not want to just. I think the other time
All right,
the car
it's
in
got to get
front
over. It's got to get over. Come on, car.
Why?
Because it needs to make a left turn.
Oh,
Actually, it looks like it can make a left turn from this lane.
yeah, it knows.
See, it knew better than me.
Yeah.
I would have been struggling to get over it, and I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
This is what the advantage of software is versus a human.
Yeah.
It can have that complete knowledge. And, I've lived here my whole life, but you can't remember every single street, which ones are the left turn lane. See, good thing you texted me.
Look at all these apartment buildings. So many demand for residential. Still not enough.
Yeah. That car cut in front of our lane, no problem. I'm driving right now. I'll talk to you later. Alright, this is interesting. I want to change lanes, but I like this lane. I wouldn't change lanes.
There must be a reason it's doing so. When do we get to a point where we start trusting its decision more than ours?
Well, so far this drive, it's been making better decisions than us.
Correct. I think it saw that this lane has less traffic
Yeah, I think its aisle has less cars in it.
compared to the other two lanes. So let's get ahead.
Now it wants to get back over into that lane.
Yeah.
Obama Boulevard. Maybe there's a merge up ahead or something. I don't know. Yep. Looks like there was a merge. That's probably why he was showing his blinker.
It knows. Now it's not changing lane. So it has to get to the far left lane
Well, that looks like there were
to
some
get
big
to 405. Yeah, go ahead.
there were some big potholes in the middle lane I just saw.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why he was avoiding it.
I don't think so.
I
How
think
would it
so.
know?
Because it stores that information in the cloud.
From other cars?
Yes.
Wow.
That's how it adjusts the air suspension. You haven't seen that message on your car?
Yeah.
So how do you think it knows that the road's rough? I have to adjust the air suspension.
Oh, here's the merge.
Another merge. Oh, I see. Then there's a merge on the left side. So by staying in the far right, there's less merge interference. Now see how now that it's gotten past that merge, it's now moving over to the left.
Very clever.
So it's thinking about things that we're not even thinking about.
Yeah.
It's thinking 5 steps ahead.
Yeah.
And then now it's getting all the way over to the left now that the merge has happened.
So smart.
Yeah, this really shows the power of letting software drive.
Yeah.
That it can think about all kinds of things that we can't even see yet.
So that answers our question, at what point do we trust the
Well, I think we are still questioning
software
it.
more? Yeah, we're questioning.
We're questioning it, but then at the same time, we're actually seeing that there's a reason behind it.
Correct. But our questioning was more curiosity, not doubt.
Yeah.
Because we know that it doesn't make dumb decisions. So I was curious, what did it do? Why did it do this? What was the reason? So now we understood the reason. Makes complete sense.
All right, we're about 1 mile away from the 405 entrance. Notice how it kind of was hanging back to not get too close to that truck. Then when it passed it very quickly.
Wow, look at that. This guy changed lane abruptly.
Yeah. Before it would just get next to a big car like that and make you uncomfortable. Now it understands that people don't like to be adjacent to a car like that where it might come out of its lane and hit you or something.
Right. Especially when the truck is big enough that its tires are almost at the line.
Yeah. These things are very nuanced, you know?
Yeah.
You wouldn't even think of it as necessarily something that needs to be done, but then when you see it, you're like, oh my God, it just creates such a more relaxing driving experience. Compared to before, you could technically say, okay, I didn't have any takeovers, but you'd probably be sweating, you know, to have that drive and not touch it. Now you can get there comfortably. Look at this. Disaster.
405
Yeah.
southbound at the South Bay Bend near the LAX. Always crazy. Bumper to bumper traffic. Never seen this stretch of the freeway. Less traffic no matter what time of the day you travel here. So getting on from the on-ramp to getting into the correct lane, which would be ideally the carpool lane for this car, which is 5 lanes to the left, is a challenge for humans, leave alone for software.
All right, lane change number 1. There we go.
Perfect.
A little slow, but it did it.
Lane change number 2 should be coming soon. There you go.
Lane change number 2.
Wonderful.
Oh, it changed its mind.
What was the hesitation? Was there a car behind us? No, there was no car.
It just thought there was a car.
It
I
was
think it was probably that
yeah,
truck.
that truck. Yeah, it wasn't
Okay,
sure.
lane change number 2.
Number 3.
Lane change number 3.
Very nicely done. One more lane change number 4.
Lane
Wow.
change number 4.
Then eventually into the carpool lane, I hope.
Once it opens up.
Yeah. It sees the double yellow very clearly. Look at this. The car to the right came into our lane almost.
And it started slowing
Yeah,
down in
it
case he
started,
didn't
yeah.
see us.
Okay, now it painted the car
Yeah.
as blue. So it's
Right.
trying to get into the carpool lane, I'm guessing. Or maybe not. Maybe it's
I think it's hoping it can get in front of this guy first. But it might miss its chance to get in the
Yeah,
carpool
it did
lane.
miss its chance. So I guess it decided not to get into the carpool.
I think it decided this guy's slower than this traffic. So let me just continue driving for a little bit, then get in the carpool lane up ahead.
Probably. So we are getting close to LAX exit, 105
Yeah.
and 405 junction. There should be another break in the carpool lane. Let's see if it takes
Yeah.
this one now.
This looks like a nice place to get in.
Yeah. Okay,
Alright, here we
yeah,
go.
It did. It did.
Lane change number 5.
Yeah. So when it's getting in and out of the carpool lane, it knows. Carpool lane is not always the fastest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think you don't want to do any uncomfortable or harsh maneuvers to get into the carpool lane, like braking really hard to get in behind another car. Because at the end of the day, if you can't get into the carpool lane, it's not the end of the world. There's always going to be another opportunity to get in. And you can still get to your destination without getting in.
And it knows when that opportunity is, how far that is. So it probably figures that out.
Right. Here's where the carpool lane starts to pay off. Everybody else is slowing down or moving ahead. And you notice the carpool lane opened, this car turned blue. So it's acknowledging the possibility that someone could get into the carpool lane. And it's aware that it needs to be sensitive during those openings that someone could cut in. That's pretty high level sort of reasoning.
Or that it was trying to get out of the carpool lane itself, but that car didn't let it.
No. It's too early to get out of the carpool lane. So this has had a major issue with the Crenshaw Boulevard exit where there's a pretty short space where it can get out of the carpool lane. So it has this issue where it brakes really hard to get out of the carpool lane. And that can be really uncomfortable and
I've seen that
unpleasant.
Before. Yeah, I have experienced that myself. It brakes hard, gets to the carpool lane. Then it has to do a 5-lane change to get to the far right lane. And there's hardly any room, like barely quarter mile. So
we'll see how it does this time. Maybe it's improved.
So far, I'm very impressed with 12.4.
Yeah. It almost seems like they're bringing in some of the end-to-end highway stuff.
There you go. Carpool lane ends.
Hey, no hard braking.
No hard braking. There's a car
little bit of braking.
Yeah.
A little uncomfortable with that car behind us, but not as bad as before.
Yeah. 2 more lane changes coming up. So it did get off earlier, about 2 miles before. Did you notice that? So there is another cut going to be, but that gets very close to Crenshaw, so it didn't take that cut this time. So it's gotten smart to realize that, hey, so there's a motorcycle in the right lane to us, behind us.
Yeah, there's been a lot of fast-moving traffic stopping it.
But motorcycle, it sees it. You can see that on the screen, and did the lane change right behind the motorcycle.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. One more lane change. Very nice. So here's that cut in the freeway that's coming up. As you can see, Crenshaw is only 3/4 mile, and the carpool lane doesn't have a brake yet. So it used to get out the carpool lane right about here, where there's a brake coming up, and it was barely a 1/4 mile after that.
Oh my God, it's really coming up close. I don't know if it's gonna make it.
It's gonna make it. Does it so well now. That is the confidence at a different level.
Yeah, you're right. It can do it so well that now it knows it can be half a mile ahead, and that's all it needs.
Did you notice now it does turn the blinker on even though the car behind you is right tight, to let the car behind you know that I want to change the lane? And that black SUV then slowed down, it gave us some room, and it got in.
Right.
So previously it didn't even do the blinkers, and the other guy would not move, so we were always stuck.
Right.
So this is great.
Yeah, signaling's definitely better. All right, we're getting off the 405. We're now going to make a right turn onto Crenshaw Boulevard.
Yeah. And both lanes turn right. Extreme right lane can make a right turn on a red light. This one usually cannot. But
yeah, I tried to get into the far right lane, but then there was a truck coming, so it backed off.
True. This is interesting. It knows that it can make a right turn even on red, so it should be able to go.
I think maybe it saw that other guy do it, so I said, okay, if that guy's doing it, I can do it too.
No, actually, technically, you cannot on this lane. That lane you can.
No, I think you can.
I don't think so. I'll have to check.
Well, people do it. Whether you can or not, people do it. If there's nobody coming.
If I remember my driver's test, even when it's, you can make a right turn on red light, it's only the far right lane that can do it.
Yeah, but people are doing it.
Yeah.
So regardless of what's legal.
But cars supposed to do what's legal.
No,
Because
it's supposed to do
FSD.
what's safe. I mean, obviously it has to follow the law, but I think it also has to keep the traffic moving. I I don't think it necessarily would have been bad if it
This
made
is
a right
nice.
turn there.
Did you notice how it turned?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it noticed
Like
that this is a little bit less of a crowded lane.
one car less.
I've noticed it starts doing that more. It makes a lane change just to get in a lane that has a little less traffic,
Correct.
which is really nice because
Even if it's like one car less.
yeah. And I was complaining early on with this version that it was way too slow. So these little things to just get you to your destination a little quicker, like maybe you're not actually getting there quicker, but it just makes you feel a little bit better
Yeah.
when you go around that line of traffic.
That's true.
And now we're pretty much home free at this point.
In what way?
We just have to drive straight and then we're at the destination.
True. But you're driving a Crenshaw, very busy highway, a lot of red lights, a lot of stop and go on traffic, very congested highway, so it's not a piece of cake drive.
But it does it every
Yeah.
single time.
It doesn't, yeah.
So I would be surprised if there was any intervention, given that it can just do it again and again and again.
So with the 12.5,
Do you notice how it slowed down? And
Yeah.
then it noticed that, okay, because of this lane to our right getting jammed, the chance of someone cutting out ahead of us, it was able to predict that might happen.
yes,
And I wasn't even thinking of that.
yes,
But it's seen so much. Maybe even that car was giving some subtle hints that it wanted to get out.
right.
And it was able to just, not slam on the brakes and create an uncomfortable experience, but just subtly slow down, such that when the car did cut out in front of us, it was able to slow down smoothly without making us feel uncomfortable.
So what I was saying is, when I was driving on the freeway, that drive will not change technically from what it was today to 12.5, right? What will
No,
change is how it gets trained in the future on that kind of driving, right?
No, I mean, 12.5 is going to be a big change.
For freeway?
Yeah, they're going to completely replace the freeway stack. So I don't know how much of the end to
So
end.
there's still code lines in there?
Yeah, that's still the old stack that's handling the highways.
Wow.
I mean, I feel like they must have started bringing in some of the end-to-end highway features over, because it definitely seems like it's gotten much better on the highway. It's not just the same old code. My God, President Biden won't stop texting me. It's so annoying. Shut the hell up. You think now that he dropped out, they'd leave us alone? That stop was so smooth.
Yeah,
It's like you can't even feel that moment where it stops.
That's
Human
what it-
can't do that.
that's what I was telling you. That we are not appreciating it much. That the stops and the accelerations from zero to whatever are so smooth now that we don't even talk about it because we don't even notice them.
Mhm. That's what really sticks out is you're starting to see more and more of
See how that car moved, but it didn't move.
Mhm. You're starting to see more and more of it doing things that humans can't do. Being aware of things that humans can't remember. Stopping in a way that's so smooth that and so exact that a human couldn't pull it off. Seeing things before you're able to see it.
No distractions, no emotions, no text messaging, none of that. So at least you know that it's going to be consistent every time it drives. Even if you get a human driver, hire someone to drive you around, if that person had a fight with his wife this morning, he may not be in that great mood of driving, He may be distracted. He may be getting text messages.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or if he didn't get enough sleep that night,
Mm-hmm.
he could fall asleep while driving.
Right.
None of that happens with technology. When computers are involved, software is involved.
I mean, this is so good to have as a backup. They've started implementing drowsy driver detection, so they start beeping at you now if you get sleepy. I think in the future, if it sees you fall asleep, it'll just take over and
Yeah.
get to a safe place and wake you up.
Yeah, take you to the police station. And call 911. Here's another braking.
It's really smooth. It really tries to keep a gap such that it minimizes unnecessary stopping and starting.
Mm-hmm.
And that creates a much more comfortable experience.
True. In earlier releases, I used to notice it would try to maintain the consistent gap with the car in front of you. Now it doesn't do that. Now
Yeah.
it tries to maintain a consistent speed.
Yeah.
So that it's not a jerky ride. If the guy
Right.
ahead of you is, going fast and slow and all of that, it doesn't exactly copy that
Right.
driver's speed pattern.
Right.
So that is, notice how far the gray car is now from us,
Right.
but it's not accelerating because there's too much traffic on the right side. It's trying to.
But it's not accelerating because it didn't see the green light. So it knew that going faster might not get me anything, right? And then you can see here we actually had a red light. So there was no advantage to speeding up at all.
That and also the traffic in the right lane was getting congested, and that prediction that somebody might change the lane. So there's something where it relatively doesn't want to be significantly faster than the lane to the right of you, even though your lane is clear.
Fisker Ocean. Poor guy, he bought a Fisker.
Great car though. I like the looks of this car.
I don't know if I call it a great car.
I mean, from the looks of it, it looks nice, interesting. Did they get bought out or file bankruptcy?
Bankruptcy.
I'm surprised nobody bought them out.
They didn't really have anything. They were kind of contract manufacturing with Magna.
Okay.
They couldn't even figure out how to deliver the cars. So they got the cars shipped in from Europe. And then they said, oh, how do we get these to our customers? We don't have any delivery centers. And the cars had all kinds of issues. Then Marquez did his review. He said, this is the worst car I've ever...
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was what really killed them. All right, we're just 3 miles away now. We should be at our destination in 6 minutes.
Speed limit is 45. It's already up to 48, which is
Perfect.
perfect. I would drive
Not
at
too slow,
48,
not
yeah.
too fast. Just the right speed. I mean, the others are going a little faster, but it's in the middle lane, so great speed for this lane.
There's a car to my right. Another Tesla. That one's gonna make the right turn. We're gonna go straight.
Good job with the yellow light there, not slamming on the brakes.
Yep. But here's the interesting part. As the FSD keeps getting better, the drives keep getting boring
Yeah. They're gonna put me out of business.
and asleep. You tend to fall asleep like, oh.
Already I'm posting these videos and it's like, okay, here's 2 hours without an intervention. And it's like, who's gonna watch a 2-hour long video of the car driving and not doing anything wrong?
Yeah.
It's like,
Not having to jump in and save ourselves or whatever, you know.
exactly.
Where's the thrill?
I know. Like these zero intervention drives are getting like as long as a feature length film.
Yeah. You know, you should actually break them into multiple videos because nobody watches 2-hour videos, so it gets too long, as you said. So maybe break it down into 4 videos, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. And,
Well, if you have one drive, you can't really break it up.
Actually, we did 4 drives, right? So you can break them each into a separate drive.
Yeah, sure.
Whoa, look at that. You see that guy? So, as I was telling you, you had to make the software idiot proof. So there are idiots like him who made a right turn while we were still driving, and he did take a chance. That was pretty risky on his part to make the right turn. But the software slowed down, let him live.
All right, we're making a right turn here.
Oh. Did you notice it didn't get into the right lane?
It kind of half got into it.
Interesting. The divider here is kind of interesting, but I figured it out. Very nice. A lot of yawning because the drives are good. It's much better braking. That was a short red light. Okay, we're getting to our destination. There's a curve cut here. Let's see how it gets there.
Pulling into the Target parking lot.
Yeah, that was good. And interesting. Go park there.
All right, yeah, let me give it this parking spot.
Yep. See, it knows how to do reverse, right? It actually knows better than how to do. Wow. Really
Whoa.
well done. Better than I would have done it. My God. That's just amazing. Cheers.
So there we go, an entire day of driving handled entirely by the software. I didn't have to touch the thing. If you don't believe in FSD now, I mean, what's it
Go
going to
back
take to
to
convince
sleep.
you? Yeah. People really have their head in the sand. They don't realize what's happening here. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.